Hello everyone, back tuning into today's video. Going to have a look at where next week's 10 days. In today's video, it's going to take us more or less to the end of October. We'll go to the 30th of October with this update. And there's going to be a lot of high pressure coming up, I think, over the next week, 10 days. It's been a very anticyclonic October so far. Looks like it's continuing through into the final week to 10 days of the month. So I'll show you the detail on that in a second, but expect a lot of high pressure to come. Bringing on with that, just say about the ads. It's links to articles on all the pages. Have a browse widgets and click through the links. If there's any articles that you're interested in, you'll be happy to pay for our website. Thanks very much for doing that. Before I just start off, talking a bit about Christmas, because the Christmas updates, can you believe they'll be starting in just 10 days time, or is it 11 days time? It's the 1st of November anyway, when we'll do the first video update for Christmas, and I thought I'd just show you the website and the charts that we're going to be using. So this is the CFS 9-monthly forecast from the website metroseal.fr. You always find link to metroseal.fr on the links page. This is the latest chart from the midnight run of the CFS 9-month forecast. It was generated midnight yesterday, 19th October. As always, 24-hour delay on these charts coming through. So this is for midday, 25th of December, Christmas Day. It looks quite a cold. Christmas Day. This one, low pressure is across eastern parts of England. We're bringing down this cold north to north easterly wind. So the upper air temperatures with that do look pretty cold, away from the southeast, where it's not all that cold there, but for much of the UK it looks quite a cold Christmas Day, and there is precipitation in there as well. Quite a bit of rainfall coming through there across England and Wales. And not all of that would be rain, because with the low pressure in that sort of position bringing down these easterly northeasterly winds, there could be some snow in that as well. So one or two places will probably get a bit of a white Christmas with that. Of course, that is a very long time away, and when we start these updates on the 1st of November, we'll do every 2 or 3 days running up towards Christmas. There will be a lot of chopping and changing going on, but what we'll be doing is looking for trends and patterns to emerge, and if a model is working correctly, we should find a trend, whether it's a mild and wet Christmas or a colder, more wintry type Christmas. We should find the trend overall beginning to emerge, but further on we go. Of course, we will get outlier runs, and over the past couple of years, we've had a couple of really entertaining runs that have gone for really cold and snowy weather, but they've always been the exception to the norm, and the norm has generally tended over the past 2 or 3 years, we've been doing these updates, to be mild Atlantic-driven Christmas, and we have generally been having mild Atlantic-driven Christmases when we get to the Christmases of those years. So, in theory, the model has been working correctly, but of course we haven't been able to test it out with a cold Christmas to see whether the model picks up on a cold Christmas weeks in advance. Eventually we will get a cold Christmas. Might not be this year, but eventually one will come along, and it'll be interesting to see when it does, whether the model is able to pick that up several weeks before the event. Anyway, the Christmas updates will begin at Gav's Weather Vids from the 1st of November. As I say, we'll do them every 2 or 3 days running up to Christmas. I know a lot of you enjoy the Christmas updates. It is all just a bit of fun, really. But I know a lot of you enjoy the countdown to Christmas at Gav's Weather Vids, and that's going to be starting on the 1st of November. At the same time, the Christmas shop will open, the Amazon shop. So if you've got any shopping to do this Christmas at Amazon, you'll be able to do it via the Amazon banners at Gav's Weather Vids. I'll talk you through all of that as we get into November. Just hold off on your Christmas shopping from Amazon just for the next week to 10 days, because when the Christmas updates start, you will be able to begin doing your Christmas shopping at Amazon via Gav's Weather Vids. I'll talk you through that when we get to the time. Right, I've gone on long enough with that, and just say quickly about the CFS beta model, by the way, it's the same model as we see here. So this is the 700 millibar height anomaly from the CFS V2 for November. And this model here, what we use for Christmas updates, is essentially the same model as this. What this is doing, because the CFS V2 runs 4 times a day, every day, so it's same as the GFS really. It has the midnight run, the 6 o'clock run, the midday run, and the 6 o'clock in the evening run. And what these charts are doing is taking all of those individual daily runs of the CFS V2 and creating a mean chart, if you like, whether it's height anomalies, whether it's temperature precipitation, whatever. So this is how the model is seen in November in terms of the overall mean of the model, if you see what I mean. So it's looking at all of those individual runs of the CFS V2, putting them all together and creating a mean chart. So for November, it is seeing that we get this ridge down to the south and the trough up to the north, and we're actually doing something a bit like that. That's not important. I just want to explain how this is all working. So these charts here are the same, coming from the same model as these charts just here. We'll begin the Christmas updates on the 1st of November. Just have a look at the CFS, at the CET, Central England temperature from Hadley. This is provisional up to yesterday, up to the 19th. So we currently stand at 11.2, which is bang on average in terms of 61 to 1990. I say that's provisional up to the 19th. If we compare that to a more modern average, say 71 or 81 to 2010, we will probably find that it's a bit colder than average, actually. But anyway, not deviating very far from average at the moment. So looking at the next week to 10 days, which is specifically what we're here for. I've gone on off on a bit of a tangent to start today's video, but looking at the next week to 10 days, these are the 500 millibar height anomaly flow charts. We've got the E70F here on the top of the GFS, which we're looking at in a moment, is on the bottom. These take us up to around the end of October, and we find the above average heights in across the UK running up towards the end of October. Slight change in the position of that ridge, in that it's a little bit more centred over and to the west of the country, but jet stream running just to the north and then going down into eastern parts of Europe, perhaps something like that. Notice a lot of red over top of the pole, so still some northern blocking. Whilst that red, those red colours and the blocking remains up there, can't rule out the possibility of potentially getting some northerly winds. What I've got to do is take this ridge up to the northwest like that, get it together with this blocking here. If we do that, we'll form a ridge somewhere around there, and then we'll send winds into the north with a trough probably coming through here. It isn't at that stage yet, but as I say, whilst we've got all of this blocking up over top of the pole, watch out for the possibility. The GFS is very similar. The above average height is really centred over the UK as we run up towards the end of October. That's a big ridge there. Jet stream generally going something like that. Again, notice a lot of red centred over top of the pole, just indicating the chance, no more than that, that we might, further down the line, get winds into the north. That's what a lot of these GFS ensemble members are picking up on that go cold towards the start of November. So these are for the upper air temperatures, these charts. The red line here is a 30-year temperature average. We're cooler than average right now, going to stay that way up to the weekend. Then it goes a bit milder at the start of next week. Beyond that, you notice we get a lot of scatter coming through during the middle part of next week. So from around here, we've got something like a 20-degree temperature differential between the warmest and coldest ensemble members. The ensemble mean is actually to be quite mild as we run up towards the end of October up here, but you notice there are several members of the ensemble that do look quite cold. I think a lot of these are probably generating a mid-Atlantic ridge, or a ridge somewhere around Greenland, and turning the winds into the north. So a lot of these are probably northerly type cold outlier members. So whilst there's so much scatterbear going through to the start of November, this is 1st of November just here, there has to be quite a bit of caution on what's happening for the end of October and into November. In terms of precipitation, lots of dry weather for the rest of this week into the weekend and early next week. Get some rainfall coming into the south. I'm not sure I can amount to too much. I have to keep an eye on it. Because precipitation spikes in some on some members are quite big, but I think really bad is restricted mostly to the south. And then beyond that, again, lots of dry weather coming up through most of next week, to be honest, not a lot of rainfall through to the end of October. Temperature anomalies from the 20th of October to 28th, looking a little bit colder than average. So it's been a fairly chilly October, this one. Temperatures certainly aren't going to be far from average. They may actually finish up either slightly milder than average or slightly colder than average. It will probably depend on what happens in the final 5 days of the month. Precipitation, again, how many times have we said this during the past few weeks? Coming out significantly drier than average from the 20th to 28th of October. Very dry looking week ahead. So here's the GFS for Monday, and we've got the high pressure still in across Scandinavia, low pressure down to the south. That's bringing some rainfall into southern parts of the country. I'm not sure it can amount to too much, but it needs keeping an eye on because it might bring some quite wet weather on Monday into the south. Beyond that, the idea is just to build high pressure back really across the country through to the middle part of next week. Then that high pressure sticks around very close to the UK to the end of next week. This is Friday 28th of October with high pressure slap bang over top of the country. And then beyond that we go through into the final weekend of October. This is Saturday 29th. This is day 10, Sunday 30th. And still with that high pressure anchored right over the top of the UK. Notice it is trying to ridge a little bit towards Iceland and Greenland. It doesn't really come off on this particular run of the GFS, and up to the final day, which is Saturday 5th of November, as far out as we can go, it's 384 hours away, we still have that high pressure anchored over the top of the UK. But notice cold air with northerly winds is coming down into Scandinavia, so not a million miles away from producing some colder northerly winds. The east end very similar. There's that low pressure down to the south, trying to bring some wet weather into the south early next week. Run through into the middle part of next week. High pressure close to the south. Low pressure does bring somewhat more unsettled conditions into Scotland, perhaps. The latter stages of next week, again, lots of anticyclonic influences for the south. Still hinting at a bit of low pressure up to the north. And then we get through to day 10, which is Sunday 30th of October. Again, the idea is still quite a bit of high pressure. It is trying to ridge up towards Greenland and Iceland, so the flow is doing something a little bit like that. It's not a million miles away from pulling down some colder air from the north, but doesn't actually happen up to day 10 anyway. But as I say, whilst we've got so much blocking over the top of the North Pole, and we've got this ridge centred in over us and around Western Europe, got to watch out for whether this ridge eventually finishes up out to the northwest of us. If it does, we would open the door to northerly winds either at the end of October or into the start of November. We'll wait and see how that one plays out. But for the next week to 10 days, it's much the same as we've had it really. High pressure going to be dominating, going to be lots of dry weather. There will be some interruptions, particularly I think around late Sunday into Monday for the southern part of the country. Quite a bit of rainfall potentially coming through there. But otherwise, the idea is to have a lot of high pressure influences, so plenty of dry weather to end what has been a notably dry October for most of us. And of course, we've got Christmas updates starting on the 1st of November, which I'm sure a lot of you will be looking forward to. Some of you won't like it. If you don't like Christmas updates, then you have to look away when they start. Right, that's all for now. It's JMA Friday tomorrow. So we'll have a month ahead look at with Japanese and CFS V2 models. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.